Welcome to the SourceSeekers Alfresco demo. Today I want to give you a little bit of an overview of a solution attached to assist with being able to fill out JSA forms. Let me provide a little bit of information or background on SourceSeekers. SourceSeekers is a partner organization of Alfresco that has produced a zero-code solution that will assist with filling out information for JSA forms. The information that's captured is then put into a long-term content management system, Alfresco, which allows you to be able to access it via a web portal, or in this case we call it the share interface. And that could be accessible to anybody within the organization, and the information is stored for as long as you wish it. Let me give you a little bit of an overview of the Alfresco platform. Alfresco is an open source enterprise content management solution which provides things like document management, records management, web content services, and enterprise collaboration. For this particular solution, we're using document management, web content services, and enterprise collaboration. From a document management perspective, we're capturing information on documents which go into a repository. And from a web content services perspective, we've created or configured custom metadata forms which allow you to be able to capture information for each particular document, which would then be stored with the document long term, and it would be made available to be searched or referenced later on. The document information is actually gathered through collaboration, and the process basically consists of a manager for the particular site assigning work to a contractor, who then can access the site via a mobile type device such as an iPad, or through a browser in a laptop or desktop machine. This information is then captured, and the process of accessing using the workflow allows the person assigning the work and the person being assigned the work to be able to see where they are in the process and communicate back and forth. And finally, the Alfresco platform is built on open source standards, so that means that it can integrate with just about any kind of software in the market. Let's talk a little bit about what the issue is with this particular use case. Many oil and gas firms today have JSA forms they must fill out and then maintain that information going forward in case there was some sort of an issue. The process includes assigning work to a contractor by the person managing the job. The contractor fills out the form, and then that information is submitted usually via on paper via fax, email, or even manually a piece of paper handed to a person, and it's signed off on by the person that's overseeing the job. And then the information, if it's accurate and they agree to it, meaning the person overseeing the job, then they'll actually sign off on the form and allow the contractor to begin work. This form would then end up in a filing cabinet or faxed or emailed to some other source to be able to be tracked and later used if there were any issues. So the process as it sits, there's some sort of person assigning and managing the work. It's very manual intensive. They use calendars and papers, pens, email, whatever, to get the information into the contractor's hands, and then that contractor goes on site usually with a clipboard and that piece of paper and fills it in. This can be done the day of the work, and then somebody needs to sign off or review on that particular form to make sure it's accurate and complete. Once the document's complete, it then gets put into sent via email, fax, or a folder transmitted somehow and put into a filing cabinet for later reference. The information that's actually gathered usually isn't used until they need to review something that happened on a job, for example, an accident, and then the lawyers might be able to need to access the information to find out, was the form filled out, was all the information there, and was it reviewed. So let's actually move to the solution, which is jointly developed by SourceSeekers and Alfresco. With the Alfresco platform, there are many things that are built into the technology that allows us to be able to assist with this, solving this use case quite easily. Obviously, the enterprise content management system allows for document management. That means that you can create folders, you can organize by job site, you can put in any information, supporting information you need, and then it's basically tracked going forward for as long as you need it. We're also using workflow, built-in workflow with the Alfresco share component, which allows a visual representation of being able to assign documents or send it to a person, and then you actually see emails going back and forth for what work is outstanding, what work has been completed. And that's where the collaboration comes in, because the work, the filling out of the document is assigned by the person overseeing the job. The contractor would then come in and sign into that same web portal with their own credentials, and then be able to fill in the information and complete the task and send it back to the person in electronic format who assigned the work via email and or them seeing the activity task activity dash within Share, which I'll show you in a moment. You'll be able to see the status of any and all activities that are going on. And finally, since this is a web-based platform, the technology used to access it can be an iPad or anything in the field where they have access via a phone or some sort of internet connectivity. They can access that same information and then be able to fill out the form electronically. So let's go take a look and see what we did. Now, what we see here is the Alfresco Share dashboard. You'll see that there are many sites that are being managed by this particular safety manager. There are many different, and they're all organized by the job needing to be done. The one we created today for this demonstration is called the SourceSeeker demo. You'll notice that there are no members involved. There's some documents that have been put into the repository, and it's got actually a folder. So if we look at the folder, we can see that this is the name of the job, and these are the documents we need filled out. So what we want to do is we want to begin by actually reviewing the documents, and just to give you an idea of what information we're capturing. These have actually had a custom content model configured for the contractor project and also the safety firm. And you'll notice this is the information we're trying to track. You'll notice the little yellow triangles. These are required fields that must be filled in, or the contractor can't leave the form. So let's start a workflow. We need to have the contractor fill in the information, and we're going to actually create an ad hoc workflow for the contractor to complete. We'll provide some information to the contractor about what he needs to do. We need him to just fill out the contractor, project, and safety forms, and for site. And that's the project. So we've provided their background on the job site in the message we're sending to them. We need this completed by Friday, and we're going to put a high priority on it. What we do is to assign the workflow to Chip Contractor. So we'll go ahead and assign him, and we'll go ahead and add the additional documents we need, which are the project and the safety documents. Let's review what we've done as far as creating our workflow. There will be emails, notifications sent out to Chip Contractor for doing the work, and also reminders about the date which we put in place for him to complete the work. So what remains is for us to start the workflow. Now if we go back to the dashboard for the site, we'll see that we have completed the work, and we need to go ahead and log in as Chip Contractor to actually see what we need to do today. So I'll log in as Chip Contractor. And notice that I do a lot of work for this particular company, and so I've got a lot of different sites that I've been invited to. Chip has been invited to join it, so we'll go ahead and join the site so we can actually do the work. And now we can actually go into the workflow and actually begin working on that particular project. So we'll click on the workflow. Remember I told you about the site dashlet, the dashlet that allows me to be able to see tasks that I need to work on. So you can imagine if I had several of these going on, I actually won't have one place to be able to view all that work. We'll see that the information is for Site 234, project 234567. It's located in Palo Pinto, Texaco lease. And here are the documents. Let's go ahead and show that we're starting the task. And I'll save it. Then we'll go back into the actual workflow and start work on the documents. By clicking on the View More Actions for each document, we'll fill in that information. We'll go ahead and edit the properties, and that is the metadata that we're actually tracking. And this is oil rig. It's actually on Texaco. And it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the project site is Texaco rig 2, 3, 4. Let them know we've received the information. Go ahead and set the date that we actually filled in the document. Set the expiration for 3 months out. And this is Texaco. This is an oil rig retrofit. Give them some information about my crew. These guys have been working for a long time. I don't have any new crew members. And we're going to use Sam Super and Barney 5 for security, and Fred Fireman for ours. Charlie Competent is also on we have stand by is our standby person. Oops, I spelled that, so I'll fix that. And the last thing we need to do is go ahead and save the document. So that information's been captured for that one. We'll go ahead and fill out the information for the rest. We'll go to the contractor document next and fill in the metadata on that document. So this is Chip's Contracting Service. We've known these folks for some time, well over a year. And we're experts at electrical excavation. We don't have any welding to do on this job. And then of course, Eileen Emergency is our contact, and here's her phone number in case anything happens. Very important if there were a problem that occurred on the job site. The last thing we need to do is fill in the safety information. This is the most important part of the information we fill out. So since this is electrical work and it is an oil rig, we need to make sure that the flammable situation is very low and we have a very high oxygen content. We need to make sure we have access. It is electrical in nature. There is no welding. There is some excavation. We do know where the emergency equipment is located, and there are hazards bodily because it was electrical work. We have no new crew members, and we know that there are hazards environmental. We'll assess the site when we get on site. We'll perform the work. We'll review the work with the foreman or the whoever's on site that's in charge, and then we'll obtain sign-off. Since this is electrical, we need to make sure high lines are at least 18 feet. And there's no training required. One of the things that we are going to do is go ahead and mark it as complete because this is the information they wanted. Later on, the person that's overseeing the job will actually set the form status as completed. In other words, he's reviewed it. Okay. Now all that remains is for us to complete the task. And so we'll go ahead and mark the task as done. Okay, that completes what we need to do from a contractor perspective. So we'll need to go back and look and see what the person overseeing the job needs to review so he can complete the documents. Now this is the SourceSeekers demo site, so we'll go in there. Oh, one thing I did forget to show you, in the site dashboard, you can see that he did join the new site. So we'll mark that task as done so we don't clutter up our task dashlet. And then we'll see that he's actually started work on, or he's completed the forms fill out. So let's go ahead and review those documents. We'll show that we've actually started this. Review. And we'll go back, just like the chip contractor did, and go back into the task or the workflow and view the documents. Let's make sure you got the information filled out on the job correctly. Yep, it looks like he took our information from the message we sent him. Now, you could actually configure this to actually flag crew members or names or whatever search criteria you wanted. Obviously, the model can be extended for whatever additional information needs to be tracked. But we did get the basic information for the project. Let's go ahead and view the contractor to make sure that we don't have any gotchas there as far as do we have any new things that popped out. We still got the same contact that we've dealt with in the past. He does have expert ratings, and that, yes, there is no welding on this job. So nothing really out of whack there. Then the most important part is reviewing the safety information. And I'm going to have to edit that, so I'm going to open up the data there and see that, yes, we do have all the questions answered. Did he sign off on the form? Yes. And we need to sign off on it as well. So we're good to go. Alrighty, the last thing that remains is for us to sign off on this task, or basically mark it as done. So we'll mark that as completed and task done. Okay, so you can see here that if I were managing several of these jobs, I have access to all the information. It's grouped in some meaningful way. I can actually see all the activities of anybody within these sites. You can see when Chip has actually done things to the documents and when he did them. So we have a lot of information about not only the documents themselves, but what's going on within our site, and it's available at a glance. So it just gives us a way to be able to track these things. Okay, so let's go back and review what we've seen. So you can see here that basically we have a web portal that is accessible anywhere. We could access it with an iPad, some sort of a mobile device. As long as we have wireless access, we should be able to complete that form even on site if we needed to. We can assign users work and actually overview what they've done. And we can actually have some sort of a flow, so we know if we have multiple reviewers in the process, we could actually use that kind of an activity workflow as well. Then the information itself is actually stored. It's organized by folders or job sites or whatever it is that makes sense to actually organize your work. And it's actually managed and stored for later use. It's searchable. There can be reports done, whatever needs to be done. So I want to thank you for your time and attention today, and please let Brian Holbrook or Ryan Aiken know if you have any questions. Thank you for your time and attendance today.